As the public outburst on the allowances for members of the National Assembly continues, some Nigerians have called for some of the allowances of members of the National Assembly be scrapped. Some of the reasons are owing to the economic downturn in the nation and the need to reduce the cost of governance, particularly at a point when state governors are claiming they are unable to pay workers' salaries. What's more, President Muhammadu Buhari decries Nigeria's huge national debt, saying he met a virtually empty treasury. How do we navigate from these troubled waters in a desperate polity that cries out for intervention? Welcome to Question Time. I'm Benga Ashiru. You may also join in this conversation by sending us your comments on our various social media platforms showing on your screen. The stake is indeed high as workers groan over non-payment of salaries, the public and civil society organizations in an intense campaign against the running cost of governance. But what many find difficult to come to terms with is the wardrobe allowance for members of the National Assembly. Few weeks ago, the social media was flooded with uncomplimentary remarks on the allowances for members of the National Assembly. Can these be justified in a country where the austerity bites so hard? We took our investigation down the line to the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RMAFC. We met with the chairman of the commission, Engineer Elias Mbam. It says the wardrobe allowance of 506,600 is in line with the Revenue Mobilization Act. What do you make of the recent scandal sheets filling the airwaves, the social media about the outrageous wardrobe allowances for Nigerian senator, which says it was 9 billion naira per annum? But you came to clear the air and you said you put the figure at 506,600 naira per annum. But how do you feel with this situation?
Well, thank you very much. We know we are in a democratic government where people air their views, but what we are concerned with is some of these things published are misleading. When I read about the 8.6 billion as a wardrobe allowance, I was so much concerned because I wanted to find out whether my memory was failing me. Because what is the entitlement of a senator is 25% of his basic, which if you compute, it will give you 506,600 naira per annum as wardrobe allowance. And when you multiply that by the number of members of the National Assembly, it's far more below what is being quoted. So the information was wrong, it was misleading, and I'm happy that the same paper later on corrected itself.
But now, even at 506,600 per annum, considering some of the perks and allowances, don't you think this is rather too outrageous?
You know, one of the things we should consider in these allowances is allowances that will ensure honesty and dignity of that position. No matter how we look at it, the position of a senator has to reflect that name. And it's not peculiar to them. There are other public officers that enjoy the same wardrobe allowance. And I'm sure you don't even enjoy it.
Do you think this is rather outrageous at a point where many people are saying the country is experiencing an economic downturn?
Well, we as a commission have resolved to review the 2008 Remuneration Act, which is what we are using now. We are reviewing it to reflect these changing realities, the economic realities of the day. But it's not something one will say it has to be 1 naira or 2 naira. We go through a process and arrive at what is most appropriate based on the prevailing circumstance.
Would you advocate that something should be done about government public information system? Because one could say people got their false information because most of the affairs of governance is shrouded in secrecy and not so transparent for everybody to have access to.
I don't think it's a situation here. This very issue, for instance, I publicly said it severally, that it is there in our website. And our office is available. It is on record that there is no information anybody had asked within our reach in this office that it was not given, particularly issues that involve our responsibility. But why sometimes the dish out falsehood is what I don't understand.
Is the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission on the social media?
Well, we try as much as possible not to join issues with anybody, but we also try to present and bring out the facts as they are. But we don't like joining issues, because it's a free world.
Don't you think it's time you got active, the Mobilization Commission becomes active on the social media?
I can tell you that we have gotten enough information there. Our people are in the social media, but when somebody has other intentions, there's nothing you can do to stop him.
Could you let us into the approval procedure of getting approval for public officers' allowances in line with Nigeria's Remuneration Act?
Well, what happens is that the Constitution provides that the Commission determines the remuneration appropriate for political public office holders. And as such, the Commission goes through a process. And one of the processes is consultations. We carry out a workshop, public hearing, where people can air their views, where people can ask questions. And at the end of it, we also look at other economic fundamentals, including the external reserve, the GDP rate, growth rate, the inflations, the exchange rate, and also at the end, you are looking for what is affordable and sustainable.
You may also join in this conversation by sending us your comments on our various social media platforms showing on your screen. Now, could anyone tell us what happens to the $5 billion allegedly missing from the Federation account? Find out when we return. Join us again.